Howdy folks, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, and today I'm going to show you how to install the timing cover on a 1999-2000 Suzuki Grand Vitara. This is a 2.5 liter engine. The procedure is the same for the 2.7 liter engine. So installing a timing cover can sometimes be a tricky thing to do because you need to reseal it with silicone, RTV, preferably black, high temp, oil resistant RTV. And it's really important that you get it done right the first time, because if you have to pull it back off for any reason, then you're going to have to clean everything back off and start all over with your silicone and all that other good stuff. So I always like to make sure that I go in here and I clean off the surfaces the best I can with a razor blade, and then I actually clean everything off with alcohol. And then I'll take my finger and I'll run it down the surface to make sure there's not any really large pits or any big chunks of dirt or anything like that. Now, if you got some residue left over like this, you know, that's actually fine. That's not a big deal. If you can get it off, get it off. But don't spend hours trying to clean this up, because your new silicone will fill most of that in, just so long as it's all pretty much smooth when you run your finger down it, and you'll be in good shape there. Now, this procedure you can use for any aluminum timing cover that you have that requires silicone to seal it. Toyotas are like that. Nissans are like that. The Suzuki is like that. So just make sure that you're fully prepared to start and finish this job in one smooth motion. Alright, and so I'm going to work with my timing cover here first. As you can see, there's still some silicone left over on it. So I'm going to get all that cleaned off. I'm just going to use a regular razor blade here, heavy duty, and just very lightly just kind of scrape the big chunks off of here. Some of it might even pull off. And in case you're wondering, this is how I've been doing this for about 18 years now. I've refined my technique a little bit, but this works. This has always worked great for me. And when you're scraping, again, you just want to get the big chunks off. Everything else will get filled in by your new silicone layer. Your goal is to have one good, smooth, even, flat surface. Okay, and now it's time to get this cleaned off. Even that brake clean will break up some of that leftover silicone for you. This will get any dirt and grime, any stuff like that on this surface off. Alright. Now we're good to go. Now, before I install the timing cover, I want to go ahead and reinstall my front main seal, which I've got a new one here for it. So, old front main, new front main. This is a crankshaft seal. And when I install seals, I like to use just a little bit of oil around the seal. That helps it and ensures that it installs nice and smooth. None of the edges get hung up. I've been in situations where I've installed a seal and I've gotten a hairline rip or tear in the seal that didn't start leaking until like a month later. And so, bottom line is though, I still had to go back in and uninstall and reinstall a new seal. So, since I learned that lesson, I always oil them. Ow! Push that seal through there. That's not what we want to do. Start over here. There we go. Now our front main seal is installed. Woohoo! Now on the Suzuki, this big hole you see in the timing cover, that's where the water pump fits through. So we've got some O-rings that we're going to need to get oiled up and get those installed on the water pump before we reinstall the timing cover. And these are what those O-rings look like. And if anything can get a hairline tear in them when reinstalling, it's O-rings. So you definitely want to grease or oil your O-rings up before you install them. Okay, so I'm going to get my silicone and other things set up and ready to restab this timing cover. Okay, so now that I got my surfaces cleaned off and installed and ready to silicone, before I do anything, after I get my timing cover surface siliconed, you're going to want to come in here, and you're going to want to do this for any make and model. If you're reinstalling a timing cover that doesn't come with a gasket, you're going to want to go ahead and put a good thick bead of silicone here. You can see somebody's already had one here before. So yeah, you're going to want to put a good thick bead of silicone right here, so that way when you reinstall the timing cover, it squishes out and into this crack here. If you're going to have an issue with a leak, this is where it's going to be at after you reinstall. So again, make sure you put a good thick bead of silicone right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our silicone bead laid down. Now, a lot of factory specifications will tell you to lay an exact 1 inch thick, 1 inch wide, 3/4 inch, whatever you name it, whatever the measurement is, bead You don't necessarily have to do that. The name of the game is to get the whole surface area covered with silicone so that when you tighten it down, it squishes out just a little bit and then fills in all your cracks or anything like that. So don't get too concerned with too much factory spec on this one. I've installed all different types of timing covers, and I've used the same silicone method for everyone, and it's never served me wrong. So here you go. So I pretty much just dab it all the way around. And then I'm going to go back with my finger and I'm going to smooth it all out. Had one of my shop owners, one of my mentors actually taught me this method. I used to concern myself with the time and detail it took to lay the exact bead down. And even then, I had timing covers that would leak on me. So one of my shop owners that I used to work for and mentors is the one who showed me this method. Now that you got the surface nice and covered, you're going to want to go underneath and do the same to the oil pan surface area. Actually, there's some silicone stuck in here, some old silicone. You want to make sure you get as much of that out of these bolt holes as you can. That way you've got room for the new bolts and new silicone to go in there. All right, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm not going to show you because I want to be quick about it. I want to go lay my thick bead in the corners for my oil pan. Clean the silicone out of the bolt holes there. If not, it'll also be extremely hard to reinstall bolts. Okay, so I'm going to leave this sit for just a minute, and then I'm going to go get the camera set up and get the silicone bead laid that I showed you at my oil pan. Okay, now we're ready to set our timing cover in. And just take your time, be gentle with it. There we go. Now you have dowel alignment pins that this is going to line up on. And you'll know, there we go, first shot. And that's really pretty much how you want to do it. Now, to go ahead and lock it down, you want to start with your middle bolts first, and then work your way out according to whatever pattern you're given. So, now you might, I don't know if you can hear him hollering at me in the background. I've got a kiddo that's now hollering at me, "Daddy, Dad, Dad." So, definitely doing this under pressure, that's for sure. When you're first starting your timing cover, tighten everything down by hand to start off with. Okay, timing covers don't normally have extremely high torque specifications. You'll find torque specifications for timing covers somewhere in the anywhere between the 13 to 25 inch-pounds, and I mean that's just not a lot at all. So yeah, just start everything by hand to start off with. And then start working your way out. Also, you're not in a rush to torque this stuff down. Once you've got this stuff torqued down, or once you've got it pressed on and installed, you're good to go. Silicone has started to squish its way out a little bit. You're in good shape. All right, go grab our other 50 bolts. Actually, there's, I think, 23 bolts altogether on this timing cover. So I'm gonna go grab those. We'll get those installed by hand. Here's some of that RTV squishing its way out. That's a good noise. Okay, so I'm going to start here in the middle. Again, I'm only hand tightening. Then I'll go back with my torque wrench and tighten everything according to the specifications. Make sure you can check the internet, check the factory book. It'll tell you what the torque specifications are. It shouldn't be too hard to find. And there you go, folks. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me screw every single screw in. I think at this point you definitely get the idea. So I'm going to go to work and get the rest of these bolts in, get everything torqued and tightened down. And that's how you install the timing cover on the 2.5 liter engine. So, hey folks, I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with me, watching and learning how to do this stuff. I really enjoy showing you. This is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. If you have any questions, shoot them to me in the comments. I'm real good at getting back to people about stuff, helping you out, answering your questions, walking you through procedures. But as of right now, I am signing off. Thanks, everybody.